save his son on the journey across Europe. That was us. And this is the last time I'll write about it, I think. I mean, I didn't have a particularly comfortable relationship with my father. At the same time, I'd never written my father. I'd never fictionalized him. I'd never written anything that I've experienced.
It feels almost like an itch that you keep needing to scratch.
I think, well, I'm a parent myself, and the last novel I wrote was a novel called Us, and it began as a story about marriage and relationships. I stopped writing it halfway through because my father became quite ill, and then he died, and I took a little bit of time off, and then went back to write the second half of the novel, and something happened to the novel, and it became absolutely about a father and son relationship. And as an experience of writing, it was very emotional. Again, nothing is drawn from that. Father and mother with nothing. My dad is completely opposite in many ways. But I do feel a great regret that we didn't have a more comfortable relationship. I think whatever I write next, I will. I don't know what the next book will be, but I'm pretty sure that particular relationship won't feature.
You're listening to Sunday Morning with me, Sally Magnuson, here at the Edinburgh International Book Festival with David Nichols. David, the way out for Charlie this summer in 1997 is through joining an earnest production of Romeo and Juliet in the grounds of a nearby mansion so that he can get to meet the girl.
Yeah.
And, if possible, take her out for a coffee. That's his first aspiration. You write about his agonies in joining that cast with enormous humour and affection again, and since you were possibly a failed actor in your past, there is fellow feeling in there. Just tell us about your own attempts to be an actor and what you're drawing on for these marvellous scenes in the book.
I mean, I was a failed actor in professional films, but I was always quite a good, what they call, it's a terrible euphemism, but I was a good company member in that I was very enthusiastic. I mean, I really loved doing plays. I didn't actually, strangely, like going to the theatre particularly. I didn't really go to the theatre until I was 18, 19. I certainly didn't see Shakespeare on stage until I was 20. I watched a huge amount of TV and film, and I loved actors on the screen. But I also really loved the sense of a company. I loved the kind of feuds and the drama and the crushes and the intrigue. And that's why I kept going, really. I think I had a sense of wanting to be involved somehow with storytelling, but not really knowing how I would do that professionally, because it seemed inconceivable to me that I would be a novelist. I mean, how did that come about? And I had no idea about screenwriting. So I kind of felt that being in plays was the only way I could maintain a contact with that world, because even though the profession itself is hugely insecure, you can be in productions, whether it's on an amateur level, student or fringe, whatever, you can do stuff. So for most of my 20s I was an actor, but I only ever played tiny parts. I was at the National Theatre for a long time, playing soldiers and servants and little walk-on parts and understudying roles, learning these great, huge, wonderful roles, and just never performing. So my acting career was really a sort of 8-year period of trying to work out what else I could do. One of my best jobs, an early job, was I was cast in the first production of Arcadia, Tom Stoppard's Arcadia. And I was sat in the rehearsal room week after week after week, seeing this play come to life, seeing the play change, seeing Tom Stoppard do little rewrites on the spot, seeing these brilliant actors, Harriet Walter, Bill Nye, or whatever, inhabit these roles. And I think I got a sense that I couldn't do that, but that I was fascinated by the process of writing. I was fascinated at how this play transformed, and also what the actors contributed to the production. And so I began reading scripts for various theatres, and then I began writing script reports, and then I became a full-time script editor. I had to choose between a 2-year job at the RSC in a touring production of Twelfth Night, playing Valentine, who has 2 lines, or being a script reader for BBC Radio. And I took that path, and found that was a much better fit. But, I had 8 years of largely being unemployed, and when I was employed, often giving quite bad performances, or not performing at all, still being in the production but not really doing anything you could call acting. And it was a strange kind of apprenticeship for writing. I didn't have the confidence to show anyone my writing when I was 22 or 23 or 29, but as I came at it from another direction, and I was sort of eased into it.
Well, you say you enjoyed the experience. Charlie Lewis absolutely doesn't enjoy it, and you send up beautifully the sort of slight pretentiousness of the whole operation going on at the mansion. But give us a flavour. Would you read us the scene where he's met this delectable Fran Fisher, who's same age as he is, but sort of massively more confident and experienced, and she has sort of enticed him into this play.
Yes.
And they've had a day of rehearsals, I think I'm right in saying, at this point, and they're walking home.
That's right. They've been doing the trust exercises and the name games and improvisations, and for Charlie it's been absolute torture. But it's the price you have to pay, and this is their first walk home. We walked the length of the driveway in silence, and it was a long driveway. Then out into the canopied lane that led down to the main road, and still the only voice was the one in my head, the voice that ordered me, concentrate. This will matter. Concentrate. I'm sorry we didn't get to talk today, she said. Yeah, it was quite full on. We walked further. I thought maybe you were avoiding me, I said. Not at all. I tried, but every time I looked up, you were pretending to be a cat, so... And here she laughed. Too much, I thought, and stirred her hair behind her ear. Yes, sorry about that. If anything, I thought you were avoiding me. God, no. It had never occurred to me that being aloof might be interpreted as aloofness. I'm not used to that kind of stuff. I don't think anyone ever gets used to it. We walked on. The heat of the day still lingered under the canopy, the still air blurred here and there with clouds of midges like thumbprints on a photo. Some way off we could hear the low hum of the motorway, and I was aware too of the chatter of the theatre company members behind us, keeping their distance, stalking. So, be honest, she said, did you hate every second? Is that how it looked? Sometimes. When you were being a statue, I thought you were suddenly going to, lash out. I'm no good at that stuff. You were. I thought your human steam engine was amazing, and I don't say that kind of thing lightly. And here she started laughing again, putting her hand to her mouth. Well, like I said, it's not my thing. So where did you come? I kept my eyes fixed ahead. Try something new, keeps you busy. Off the streets, out of trouble. Are you in trouble? Not really, just bored at home. And were you bored today? Not bored? Well, there you are then. Embarrassed. Yeah, well, everyone gets that to begin with. It's like when you join the Foreign Legion or the SAS and you have to carry a fridge on your back and drink your beer or whatever. Here you have to play the hat game. Yeah.
What's done so beautifully in the book is not just Charlie's falling in love with Fran, but falling in love through Shakespeare with words. At one point,
I started out screenwriting. I was often asked to write that kind of film, and sometimes tried and couldn't really do it. I mean, I think it requires a kind of a particular set of skills that I didn't really have, certainly not at that time. So yes, I do. I mean, I've never really, I feel a bit at sea with cinema because I really love cinema, and I've written 6 films now, 6 produced screenplays, and never quite cracked it. You know, I'm not sure what I'll do next, but I'd love to have to write an original screenplay and have that kind of...
What is it that's inhibiting you from cracking it, you think?
I don't know. I think perhaps feeling tugged perhaps in 2 different directions. I'd love something to be a commercial success. At the same time, I think...
And this is actually happening in the Himalayas as well. And in the Himalayas, it's even more drastic if people lose the source of life, the rivers that are running from these glaciers that have been moderating the water flow for thousands of years.
And you've written that human beings are like frogs in the fable. I think you've said being slowly boiled alive.
And we are being slowly cooked. So I think this fable about if you just cook frogs and you just warm the water slowly enough, you won't notice it, then jump out, and they won't be kind of getting the warning sign. So we humans are kind of like that. We normalize huge geological events, like the biggest event, actually geological event is happening in the oceans, for example. The alarming rate of ocean acidification. All these things are happening simultaneously, but it's like they're not startling enough. So we actually just take the paradigm shift that we need to do.
Na
The
600
paradigm shift
meter
of
links afbuigen.
redesigning almost everything that we're doing in all our habits. We have to start quite quickly doing that.
Is that what it'll take? Because you know, your letter to the people of the future says only you know if we did what needs to be done. And I think that individuals often feel helpless, that they can see that something needs to be done, but they're not quite sure where they fit in. What's your message to people like you and me?
Well, this is a race where either everyone wins or everyone loses, actually. Because the
Na
atmosphere
300 meter links
is totally
afbuigen.
collective for mankind. So this is the first truly global task that every single human has to focus on. And this is on a government level, it's on a corporate level, it's on an individual NGO level. And you can see it in a very optimistic way that things like this can bring out both the worst, of course, in people, but they also can bring out strength and cooperation. And if you channel people into a
Na
path where they
300
actually
meter
start seeing
scherpe bocht naar rechts.
results instead of just sitting in apathy, then we can see an amazing effect, I believe. For example, in the educational system, when these kids are on strike, and we start finding paths for them to study themselves into solutions, then they will actually find that their education has higher
Nu een
meaning.
scherpe bocht naar
And
rechts.
why am I studying algebra? Well, because we have to bind 1,000 gigatons of CO2 in the next 50 years.
Na
And we don't know how to
400
do that.
meter
So
links
that's why you have
afslaan.
to study algebra, because it's kind of a race for the planet.
André Snyer Magnuson, it's been a pleasure to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much for joining me. Still to come before midday, in the aftermath of another devastating fire in a slum in Bangladesh, what will happen to the 10,000 people made homeless? And a unique musical collaboration between the Scottish Hospice
Na 150 meter links
Working
afslaan
as a
en
group
dan direct
can
neem de
make
eerste
it
links.
better than working as one.
Yeah. Because when you're like working, you kind of feel like more together, so like you're not really alone.
Nu links
And your
afslaan en
confidence
dan
like
direct
boosts
neem de
up.
eerste links.
That's after the news, and taking us there is Fleetwood Mac with